they were here for an event that was, the goal of it was to tell other people, to tell students how to create pro-life clubs. And I had gotten an email from Maddie Bernero, actually, and this was 3 years ago, 2015, 2 years ago. And it just said, oh, come to this, we're inviting everyone to come, check it out. And I really, I saw that it was about starting pro-life clubs. I had no ambitions to start a pro-life club. I was in 10th grade, I had a lot going on. It was the summer, so obviously I didn't want to think about school. But I went anyway. And it was me, my friend Andrew Carvalho, who you might have seen before. He spoke at the masses with me. So me, Andrew Carvalho, and 2 other people from Paul VI, who I don't think even go to St. Mary's. I haven't seen them since. But it was 4 people that came to that talk. And this was a talk that, dozens of people I was expecting to come, and I think they were probably expecting to come too, because there were lots of chairs set out. But there were just 4 of us. And I thought, well, great, what is this going to do? 4 people, this is pointless, this is a waste of time. But I sat through it, and I heard the different people speak about how to be active in your community in pro-life issues. And for me, being pro-life was kind of, actually doing something about it was kind of a once-in-a-year thing with the March for Life. I do the March for Life, and that would be the big thing of the year. But I will also have a lot of conversations with my friends, especially in 2012, which was the previous election year. I was in civics in 8th grade, and I got really involved in a lot of issues, and abortion was one of those issues. So I learned about it. I spoke to a lot of friends about it, because I really wanted to get other people's perspectives. And by having those conversations, I learned how to dialogue more effectively, more persuasively, and more lovingly, because I realized that, like I said, just shouting facts at people, just talking your mouth off isn't going to do anything. We have to try to understand other people, where they're coming from, and go from there with a common goal of seeking the truth. So seeking the truth is a big thing for me, a big theme that's really helped me this whole time. But when we were at this talk, and we heard Miss Mev Pearson, who I mentioned before, she had had previous abortions, and she gave a testimony of what that experience was like for her. And I'd never heard a testimony, an abortion testimony before. So when I heard her speak, I was speechless. There were a lot of emotions going through my head. She was crying up here, talking about it, and it was very traumatic. And I realized this isn't something that can just be a once-a-year thing. This isn't something that I can sit back and just have casual conversations with my friends about and just hope it'll get better someday. Because it's not. If we sit around and just talk, nothing's going to change. That goes for any issue. So I was inspired that day to start a pro-life club at Robinson with my friend Andrew Carvalho, who I mentioned was there with me that day. We decided together. I don't think we would have done it either of us on our own, because it was a very daunting task. It was kind of scary, honestly, because it's such a hot topic issue, and we knew there was going to be resistance, and there was. But when we started it, we looked at each other and we said, let's do this. Because we go to CLC here together, Catholic Life Communities, and that's a weekly meeting where we meet with other guys who are Catholic and we want to grow in our faith. And so we already had this bond, but we wanted to really share that. We wanted to spread it, that evangelization. And we realized that God was calling us to this. We weren't there for no reason. Just because there were 4 people at that meeting that one day doesn't mean it was a waste, as I learned. All God wanted was 4 people to be there. And he did so much with that. And I'm very grateful for that. And so right after that day, the presenters actually hooked us up with Students for Life of America. And if you've never heard of them, they're a national group that is based in Virginia, and they help start pro-life clubs at not only high schools, but also colleges, and they've just started a middle school program too. But we got in touch with them, and we found out that we had a regional coordinator. Her name is Michelle Hendrickson, and she dealt with Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, and so we got in touch with her, and she was very responsive and very energetic and positive and encouraging, and she encouraged us to do this, and she gave us the resources that we needed to get started. And so September was approaching, Labor Day was approaching, which meant school was about to start. So we knew that we were going to get down to work, and we had a plan. The first day of school, we went to the Assistant Director of Student Activities at the school, at Robinson, and we asked what we needed to do to start a club. And he said there were forms that we had to fill out, just routine forms to start the Pro-Life Club, just like any club. And so we said, okay, great, give us the forms. And he said, they're not available yet. And he said, but I can give you last year's forms. And we said, okay, sure, we'll take them. And so we took the forms, filled them out. We were back the next week, actually the next day really. And we said, okay, we have the forms, they're pretty much all filled out. What do we need to do? Like, what's next? And he said, we actually need the updated forms. And FCPS hasn't released the updated forms yet. So I said, okay, Fairfax County bureaucracy. But we were determined to get it done. So we didn't let that stop us. The next week, we came back and we said, what's the update? Are the forms there? He said, no. He said, come back next week. We came back next week, still no forms. Back and back and back. Every week for 3 months. 3 months. We went to ask for those forms. And they still weren't available yet. We didn't really understand what was going on. We didn't think there was prejudice against us necessarily, because they were forms that should have been available for any club. And so he just said it was the county that hadn't released an updated form. So we said, okay. But we weren't just sitting back over those 3 months and just talking to him. We got down to action. We set a plan, we set a goal, and we determined what we would need to do to get to that goal. Just like what I'd seen at the March for Life. We were putting it into action. And so one of the things that we needed to do to accomplish that goal of starting a club was to collect signatures of people who would be interested in attending if it ever was created. So this kind of interest sheet, Andrew and I made copies of, and it had a spot to put in your name and your email address. And so we spent those 3 months talking to really whoever we could about this club. Lots of people were really hesitant about it, as was to be expected, and they didn't really know what it was about or if they wanted to be involved with something so controversial. But we talked to them and we said, this is a club that we're starting because we realized that something needs to be done. Abortion takes the life of an innocent human being, and we don't think that's okay. But the club isn't going to be something. We had determined this. The club wasn't going to be something where we just put our message out there, told people we were right, and told other people they were wrong. Because again, that wasn't going to accomplish anything. If we can't inspire people to change, to take action, it's worthless. So we decided it was going to be a club that would work to, and this is actually our mission statement, to protect and inspire those around us in our community to build a culture of life through education and morality. So we wanted to build a culture of life at Robinson. And we wanted to do it by a lot of community outreach, as I'll talk about. But we started to get those signatures. And we spoke to more people, and we got more signatures. We needed 25 signatures, so we got that in a few days. Over the course of those 3 months, we amounted the signature list to 103 signatures. Those are the 103 signatures right there. And so those 103 signatures, that was unprecedented for a club. No club had ever gotten that many signatures. So the assistant director of student activities knew we were serious. We were coming back every week, and we gave him this form of 4 pages of signatures. He said, oh, you only need 1. And we said, no, we're turning them all in. They weren't for nothing. And So we turned them in, and after 3 months, the forms were released. And so we applied to become a club at Robinson. And we found 2 awesome sponsors, teacher sponsors for the club. One actually is a member here at St. Mary's, Mrs. Urban, and she's a Spanish teacher. And the other one is another Spanish teacher who I believe attends Nativity. So they're both strong Catholic women, and they wanted to help us to make this change. And so we set about to, we turned in the forms, and on December 17th, so it took a few months, but on December 17th of 2015, we became an official club at Robinson. And that was big for us. And so, but we had to have an interest meeting. So one of the things we did to have that interest meeting is we put out flyers and we made announcements. But before the interest meeting even happened, it was school picture time. And we hadn't even had a meeting, but we had all these signatures. So we emailed everyone and said, school pictures. We're kind of unprepared, but they said we can have a slot because we're an official club. So 30 people came to the school pictures, and we hadn't even had a meeting yet. It was incredible. It blew me away. And it was exactly half female and half male. So no one could say we were a guy club, or guys who wouldn't want to come, but it was mostly the other way around. So we had this great establishment, and we built on that. So in a couple months, in February, because there were snow days, if you remember, early last year, we had our first meeting we had our first meeting, which was an interest meeting, and 50 people came to the interest meeting. That's a lot of people for a club at Robinson. There are a lot of official school-sponsored clubs that don't even get 10 people, and I've been there. Honor societies. So we had this club meeting, and we bought 10 boxes of pizza. 10 boxes of pizza. And they were all eaten. By the end, there was no pizza left. And that was before we even had money. So I was kind of scared. So we used our own money for that one. But it was a great meeting. There were lots of people came, lots of people who were interested. Pro-life and pro-choice. People wanted to know what we were about. And they wanted to have a conversation. And that's what we were offering, an honest conversation. And so the interest meeting went great. And the next thing we did was we started to get involved in the community. And one of the things that we did was we got connected with the people at Paul VI High School and also Bishop O'Connell High School. And some of you may know Father Gregory Thompson at Bishop O'Connell. He's the chaplain there. He's great. And we got connected with them. And so a couple of us from the club went to the Falls Church abortion facility, and we prayed there. And that was one of the things that we wanted to kind of establish as a club activity. This peaceful, prayerful, for those who are Christian, presence at the abortion facility. And that went great. We were there offering prayers, love, and hope, and another way. And so something that we did after that was we had more meetings. And every meeting, a lot of meetings, the more meetings we had, more people came. And at this one, you can see we already have a really strong member base. And so we kept having meetings, and we, if you remember last year, one of the speakers who was here was Jeannie Mancini, who's the president of the March for Life. And I sat down at the table next to her, and we talked, and she heard I was starting a club. She was very interested. She got my contact information. She asked me to write a blog post for the March for Life. And so I did that, and that was a really, really cool experience. And you can check that out on their blog if you want to read it. But it talks about my story. And so that was further confirmation that we were doing something. And at this point, we'd already had 3 meetings. And one of the meetings was, what is abortion? So we talked about that. What is abortion? And the next one, we talked about the humanity of the preborn. We showed how the preborn are human through scientific means. We can tell. Because they're human, they're alive, and they're whole organisms. So that's a little pro-life apologetics. We wanted to get into that. Something else that we did is we also had tabling events. And this was a table that we'd set up outside the school to try to recruit more people. And unfortunately, No female members were able to make it that day, so it kind of looked like it was male-dominated, but that's okay. Because we were respectful, we were loving, and we were willing to have conversations. So we had some great conversations, we got people signed up, we made a little booth. And we also participated in something called the Pro-Life Day of Silent Solidarity, which you may have heard of. That's something where you put red tape over your mouth for one day, or you can just put tape somewhere on your body, and you don't talk for the whole day. And the purpose of this is to be in solidarity with those who are silenced through abortion, so the unborn. And we had little flyers to hand people. So that was a great community event. It got us out there. People knew what we were about, and we wanted to do it with love and peace. Excuse me. We also sent some club representatives to the Regional Students for Life Conference, which happened at Georgetown. And that was a really cool experience because we were able to networking with other people from other clubs, college and high school, and learn about what are some more effective practices we could do. And we also had guest speakers. So a couple guest speakers we had were Josh Brom, he's the president of the Equal Rights Institute. We also had someone from the Noble Pregnancy Help Center in Fairfax come and give a talk. So we wanted to offer students not only information, apologetics, how to talk about it, but also how they could help women who are in need, because that's something we wanted to do, the community outreach, helping women in need. And we did that by having a diaper drive. And this was a very successful diaper drive. Everything's kind of stuck together, but we collected hundreds of diapers, and we had multiple diaper drives. So that's another event we really wanted to do, and we gave it to the Pregnancy Help Center. We also made cards for women in crisis pregnancies to encourage them. There were a lot of great things that people wrote to try to let women know that people are praying for them, people care about them. We also went to the March for Life in DC. We took about 12 people to the march. None of them, excuse me, except for myself, had ever been to the march before. So it was a really cool experience to take people to the Supreme Court and go on that experience that had inspired me originally. And while we were there, I was actually interviewed on EWTN. You may have seen the interview. You can look it up on YouTube. And that was really cool. All my friends are there behind me cheering me on. It's a great interview. You should look it up if you can. And then we also went to the National Students for Life Conference. And the National Conference, as you can see, it filled up a whole Protestant church, and that's saying something. So there were a lot of great speakers there, and it was like the regional conference we went to at Georgetown, but a lot bigger and a lot more exciting and a lot higher production. And of course that cost money, but we were able to provide for the cost of this with the funds that we had raised here at St. Mary's when we had spoken after Masses. So events like this, events like providing for the diaper drive, food for the club, the t-shirts that we're wearing right there that have a great quote on the back that we wear in school to spread the message, that's where a lot of your money has gone to. And we've really appreciated that, and it's also running out. So we would appreciate any donations that you can provide for us tonight. And we'll go to things like this, like helping the women in the crisis pregnancies, we make baby baskets for pregnant teachers at Robinson. So different events, we always have new ideas to try to spread the pro-life message. Those are the baby baskets that we made. And we've had guest speakers and lots of new students, new faces have come. And that was the last one we had just a few weeks ago. A group from New Hampshire came down and gave a talk. So that was really, really cool. And so different events like this are just a few of the examples of the things that we've been doing in the community at Robinson to try to inspire a culture of life and to really start that conversation about what is abortion, why does it matter, and what are we going to do about it. And I've had a lot of great conversations with other people. I've learned a lot. I've been humbled, and I've also grown as an individual. And in meeting a lot of you, a lot of people who want to help us and want this mission to continue at Robinson. And I hope it does for many years. And with your generosity, it can. But we need that help. We can't do it alone. This is a community effort. Father Barquette has been very generous in helping me and my friend Andrew to get this club off of its feet. It really has a home here at St. Mary's, even though it's a non-sectarian club. We're open to everyone. We had atheists come and convert to the pro-life position. It's so beautiful to see someone go from pro-choice to pro-life. It's the coolest thing ever. And that confirms the fact that we're making a difference. So I encourage you to not only support us, but also to go out into this community. Talk to people about it. Don't be shy. Learn about the issues. There's lots of great websites, books you can read. And really, this is something that Pope Francis has encouraged us all to do, to stand up for life. He's been very passionate about that. And to be brave about it. Because we, like I said before, we can't sit around, we can't just talk about it and wait for things to change, because they're not. It has to start with each of us. Like I learned that time that I came to the meeting with 4 people, the power of one is incredible. And with the power of the Holy Spirit guiding you and guiding all of us in unity as a faith community and as human beings, because this is a human rights issue, we can change the world. Thank you.